Alright, what's going on guys? In this video, I'll be showing you how to upgrade the Huatli Dinosaur Knight Planeswalker deck. Keep in mind that this deck isn't intended to be a tier 1 GP winning competitive deck. If you want that, consider checking out the latest tournament results. What we'll be doing in this video is upgrading this deck card by card, sticking to this deck's themes, and getting as much power out of it as we can. We'll also be doing it on a budget, as we will not exceed the deck's original MSRP price. So anyway, if you bought this deck and you didn't like it, maybe you're thinking about buying another Planeswalker deck, hold up. For that same price, we can upgrade this one and make it significantly more powerful than anything you can get out of a box. So what does the Huatli Dinosaur Knight deck do? Well, if it isn't obvious by the title, it's a tribal dinosaur deck, using things like Kinjali's Collar to help fuel out some big beefy dinosaurs, such as Goring Ceratops and Burning Sun's avatar. Yep, it's all about the dinosaurs. Now I have a lot of problems with this deck, and I mean a lot. Like so many problems. The first is a normal problem with Planeswalker decks. It's filled with terrible cards. You know, things like Shining Aerosaur, Frenzied Raptor, Raptor Companion. You know, these cards are terrible. Just compare Shining Aerosaur to like Glorybringer. They both cost 5 to cast, but the Glorybringer is a 4/4 with flying and haste, and it can also blow up a creature if necessary. I mean, yeah, it's a gross comparison. But that's to be expected though. That's why these videos exist, to show you what terrible cards to take out and what cards to replace them with. So that's fine, I guess. That's kind of what we expect out of a Planeswalker deck. There are bigger issues with this one, however. The first is that it's red and white, or more importantly, it's not green. Green is so important for a dinosaur deck, as many of the best dinosaurs are in that color. Things like Ripjaw Raptor, Regisaur Alpha, Death Gorge Scavenger, and, you know, Drover of the Mighty. I mean, that's hugely important. Drover of the Mighty is amazing in dinosaur decks. And that's not to mention things like Gotha, Gishath, Carnage Tyrant, which are, you know, a lot of these are too expensive for us anyway. But the point is, green. Green is the color for dinosaurs. And, oh, did I mention commune with freaking dinosaurs? I mean, that's important, and it's green. It's just, man, if you're building a dinosaur deck, you want green. So why did Wizards of the Coast give us a red-white dinosaur deck to start with? And the other issue is, because we're in red and white, there's not that many dinosaurs to work with to begin with, and then the good ones are too expensive. I mean, we're talking things like Kinjali Sunwing, Trapjaw Tyrant, Huatli. I mean, these are some of the best dinosaurs in red and white, and they're all just a little bit too pricey for us. You know, in USD, they're like $2 to $3 each, so it's not that expensive. I mean, you could buy 4 Sunwings, 2 Tyrants, and 2 Huatlis for like $15, but for us, because that's our limit, $15 is our limit. Maybe we can play 1 or 2 of each, but, you know, it's a stretch. Most of our budget will go to just these. We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel, trying to get this deck to come together. And my final issue is that I think that the best red-white dinosaur deck is actually an aggro build, with things like Relentless Raptor, Sky Terror, Tilonali's Knight, and, you know, burn spells like Lightning Strike, Abrade, and maybe Shock. I think that would be the best red-white dinosaur deck, but if you're gonna do that, why restrict yourself to dinosaurs and miss out on things like, you know, On-Crop Crusher and Honored Crop Captain? I mean, you're limiting yourself by forcing yourself to only build with dinosaurs. So you see my problem? It's just, this one's kind of a problem. It's a kind of a tricky one. But with all that said, we'll be building the best red-white dinosaur deck that we can, fueling out some big dinosaurs as quickly as possible. And if you have this deck, you should be able to power it up and make it much more consistent and definitely much more playable than it is out of the box for very little investment. So let's take a look at the upgrades. The first thing we'll be doing is taking out 2 Frenzied Raptors for 2 Kinjali's Collar. We really want to be able to put out some big dinosaurs as quickly as possible, and this is going to help us do that. The Frenzied Raptors are just not great, and Kinjali's Collar is going to be a lot more effective in the slot. You know, it's just going to make all of our dinosaurs cheaper, letting us put out some really big creatures really quick, so definitely a lot better there. Next up, we'll be taking out 2 Dinosaur Knights for 2 Odapec Huntmasters. As previously mentioned, I actually think the Dinosaur Knight would be pretty sweet in an aggro build, but in this version, we're looking to go big and beat down. So we're going to cut those for the Huntmaster, which will make all of our dinosaurs come in quicker by reducing their cost. And it can also give our dinosaurs haste, allowing us to take our opponent by surprise with some quick-footed beasties. For the same reason, we'll be taking out 2 Pterodon Knights for 2 more of the Huntmasters. I mean, at best, the Knight's a 4 mana 3/3 with flying, which is not that impressive. So the Huntmasters are going to be doing a lot more work for us, I promise. Don't pay 4 mana for a 3/3 flyer, guys. Don't do it. Next up, we'll be taking out 2 Raptor Companions and 2 Shining Aerosaurs for 4 Frilled Death Spitters. Raptor Companions and Shining Aerosaurs are just terrible. I mean, they're unplayable basically, and they should never be in the deck for any reason. We could put pretty much anything in this slot and be fine, but the Frilled Death Spitter, you know, it's a decent attacker. Worst case scenario, it can deter our opponent from attacking while we try to find some bigger dinosaur friends to back it up on the battlefield. So, you know, it can be aggressive, but it can also just kind of sit there and be like, nope, don't attack me. I need to find some dino friends to give me a couple turns for that. With the same mentality, we'll be taking out all 4 of the Huatli's Snubhorns for 4 Raptor Hatchlings. The Snubhorns might be playable in an aggro build, just like the Knights mentioned earlier, but in this case, we're getting a potential 3/3 for 2, and the Hatchling is going to do the same thing as the Death Spitter. It's going to deter our opponent from attacking and allow us to kind of stall out for a bit until we can get to some beefier dinosaurs. Speaking of bigger dinos, we're going to take out 2 Bonded Horncrest in favor of 2 Trapjaw Tyrants. This is an expensive upgrade as mentioned earlier. The Tyrants are like $2 to $3 each, so you know, it's not great for what I tried to do. I tried to make these as cheap as possible, but these are incredibly powerful. You know, a 5/5 that can exile any creature that it touches, and you know, the Tyrants are a terrifying presence on the battlefield, and you know, well worth dumping some money into. And on the topic of spending a bit of money, we're going to be taking out a Plains for a single copy of Huatli Primal Storm. Yep, that's right. So this deck has way too many lands. It's boasting 26 in total. Not many decks need 26 lands, especially when we are reducing the cost of our dinosaurs with Kajali's Color and the Huntmasters. So the Huatli, on the other hand, wow, what a scary card to play. A 6 mana 6/6 that can create huge swings in the game when it attacks. Plus it can come into play with haste with the Huntmasters. So, you know, this thing could be pretty crazy. It is another expensive one though, clocking in at about the same price as a booster pack. But I mean, what would you want to open in a booster pack if you had a dinosaur deck? You'd want Huatli, right? So, you know, why not buy one and guarantee that you'll get it, right? That makes sense. Next up, we'll be taking out another land for Harnessed Lightning. This will allow us to clear the board a bit, allowing us to stall out the game in the early game, or giving us a way to clear out blockers in the late game so we can swing in for the win. And there's going to be a lot of that in the upcoming few screens, so get ready. Alright, are you ready? Good. We're taking out 2 Slash of Talons for 2 more Harnessed Lightning. What can I say? The Lightning is just a lot more versatile. Not much to say here really. Kill bigger things and doesn't require them to be attacking or blocking. I'm perfectly happy to spend an extra mana for that. We'll also be taking out 2 Huatli's Spurring for 2 Lightning Strikes for the same reason. I mean, sure, you can technically get 4 damage out of the Spurring, but it's just clunky and awkward. Lightning Strike lets us deal with creatures that are giving us problems, creatures that are getting in the way of our attackers, or it can just be aimed at our opponent's face without the need of an attacking creature, so it's just way better, way more versatile, way less clunky than the Spurring. Next up, we'll be taking out 2 Rallying Roars for 2 Dinosaur Stampedes. I mean, the Rallying Roar is interesting. It allows us to untap our creatures as a combat trick and potentially take out some of our opponent's attackers, so yeah, it's actually kind of interesting, but man, a Dinosaur Stampede can be devastating. If we have 2 or 3 attackers, man, I mean, that's kind of a win. I mean, giving all of our dinosaurs +2/+0 and trample, that's going to allow us to steamroll our opponent, so I like it. We'll also be replacing the last Huatli's Spurring with another Dinosaur Stampede. We're just looking for big swingy attacks, and while the Spurring costs 2 less, the Stampede just has the potential of being way more devastating. Since we're looking to push the game into the late game, I'm okay with something that's a little bit slower and maybe a little bit clunkier, but can give us, some finishing potential. So that's the deck. I mean, that's it. We didn't have a lot of room to make a ton of upgrades, but definitely this seems a lot better than the stock deck, and it's not bad. It's not bad. If you want to dump a little bit more money into the deck though, I would definitely recommend cards like Kanjali, Sunwing, Trapjaw Tyrant, and maybe another Huatli or two. You can also improve the mana base with dual lands as well as unclaimed territory. These will cost you some moolah, but it'll make your mana more consistent, which is important when you're playing things like Burning Sun's Avatar and whatnot. But unfortunately, we can't do that on our budget in this video. So that's the deck, guys. This was absolutely the most difficult Planeswalker deck upgrade video I've done to date, simply because it baffles me that the Dinosaur deck wasn't green. It really needs to be green. But nevertheless, I think we pulled something decent together here. I mean, at the very least, our total investment is just under $15 USD, and that's with spending $10 on 2 copies of Trapjaw Tyrant and 1 Huatli. If you swap those out with, say, I don't know, like Burning Sun's Avatar, the total cost of the deck is closer to like $5 or $6. So for just a few bucks, you can make it significantly more powerful. And that's kind of the idea behind these decks. Not necessarily to present a tier 1 dinosaur deck, which doesn't exist anyway, but show you how you can spend very little money and just make this much more powerful, especially if you're playing it out of the box. So anyway, that's it for me. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, by all means, leave a like and subscribe and whatnot. Consider checking out the playlist where you will find guides for other Planeswalker decks. But anyway, yeah, hopefully this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.